Welcome, today I'm going to be running the Guristas 6 out of 10, the Troop Reinvigoration Camp in the Rook. Now, of course, the Rook is not the best ship for running this. As you can see, it only has less than 600 DPS. Meanwhile, if I were to take a Tengu, for example, Tengu can easily hit to over 900 DPS. However, there is one big benefit to using the Rook. That is, the Rook is able to run these sites relatively stealthily because of the roll bonus that the Rook has. People won't see it on D-scan, and chances are, if they don't see it on D-scan, they don't know the site's there. They just see you a notebook and assume you're a cloaky camper or something else. And meanwhile, if you were to run in a Tengu and they see, oh, here's a Tengu on D-scan and there's a new Inoko, oh, that's probably a site runner, let's go and scan him down and steal his site or kill him. So yeah, this is just a way to run sites in hostile space or space that's being camped and you just don't want to deal with probes. That's not to say that there won't be combat probes, but the likelihood of there being combat probes is very much lowered. Now, I am using two clients. The second client will just serve as eyes on the upgate. It's not necessary. If you are good at D-scan, then you can just dock up or warp out if you see probes on D-scan, but I'm lazy, so I just would rather do it this way. Besides, it has a Sino, so a lot of good reasons to have a Sino alt. Okay. The one special feature about the 6 out of 10 is that in the second and third rooms, the rats really love aggroing your drones, so you do have to take a slightly special path to try to get the best route you can. That's possible. First room, just go ham on everything. The battlecruisers will die in 4 volleys. Destroyers die in 2, but I usually just approach the battlecruiser and then let drones do most of the rest of the work. As you can see, some of the drones yellow, shooting my drones instead of my ship. But it just seems it should be fine. Now my fit, I'm using 5 hams, a 10-minute afterburner of Pithum B-type shield booster, 2 shield boost stamps, meta cap battery, kinetic shield and thermal shield hardener, and 3 ballistic drill systems. Riggs is a core defense upgrade of the Solidifier, the Warhead Calefaction catalyst. For travel purposes, I would recommend this refit. Just grab a depot, 2 eye stabs, a warp core stab. Just refit for that when you're traveling. First room, you can just kill everything as quickly as you can. The rats usually aggro you on when you enter the room anyway, so it's fine to deploy your drones. But from the second and third rooms on, you have to be careful when you deploy your drones. A second good part about using the Rook for these sites is the Rook's innate bonuses. As you can see, I have 85, 82 bonuses, but if I were to say just turn off my Hardeners, the Rook already has really high innate kinetic and thermal resist, and this is a Guristas site, so you can get away with really not using a lot of tank modules. Honestly, this might even be a bit overkill. Now for the second room on, you can't deploy your drones at the start because the rats up here will start shooting at your drones, and you don't really want that to happen. So instead, what I do is I just approach these battleships. This first group over here. I want to kill these battleships and kite upwards to this group over here. And on the way, you can just kill battlecruisers and whatnot. Battlecruisers die in 4, battleships, they die in not more volleys, I don't bother counting them. So yeah, slowly killing battleships. Thankfully, these battleships do die somewhat quickly, but they still do take some time to kill. That took around 14 volleys. I just set them at an orbit 1k. Probably could just get away with approaching it, but it's just good practice to orbit 1k, usually. There's very few times you want to approach instead of orbit. As you can see, some of the rats up here, they're starting to aggro to me. This cruiser rat, the cruiser, just keep a special eye out for. It does sometimes drop faction modules, and it's worth looting. It's not common, but they do happen, so just keep an eye out for it. The cruiser, usually, you don't need to bother actually shooting with your missiles because it can't be webbed, so it's going to go really fast. It's easier to just set your drones on them when you're able to use drones. As you can see now, some of the battle cruisers have burned into range. My range is 20 on here, so I'll start shooting at them. So as you can see, the battle cruisers died in 4 volleys. You should be counting them, it's just better to do that than waste. If you can see, sometimes if you're using Tengu with 6 launchers, they'll likely die in 3 volleys. But I'm not, so here we are. Now as you can see, the middle group right by the gate hasn't aggroed on me yet, so I'm not going to deploy my drones. Once that group has aggroed on me, then I'll start using drones to clean up all the destroyers. You might wonder if there's enough time. There is, because you have to burn through 4 battleships in the middle group, and well, the drones don't do a lot of damage, but they do enough. These are mostly destroyers and frigates, which aren't exactly known for their tank. Now you have to make sure that the rats are within 20k. If you were to shoot at them while they're at the edge of 20k, there's a chance that that'll burn out. It isn't precise. I prefer shooting at around 18 to 19k at most. 20k, it's just too easy for the it doesn't always hit, especially if the rat's burning away from you. So because of travel time and missile mechanics, and yeah. And now that that's done, I'm going to head over to the middle group. As you can see, I'm tanking really fine. Honestly, the B-type shield booster might be a bit of an overkill. You probably tech to it, but B-type it's not a lot of money, so I can just, and I'm just lazy, so yeah. Now, another good thing about the Rook, Tengu I think has at most 6 or so. Tengu has 6. You can knock 6 targets, the Rook can knock up to 10, which really helps since you can just stock up everything much quicker. The benefits of being a recon. As you can see, the middle rats are in range, so I'm just going to purposely shoot one of them right now. Now all of them should, now as you can see, most of them have red boxed me, so now I can deploy my drones. Not sure what they're aggroing, but shoot this. And now you just slowly burn down the battle cruisers before you move on to the battleships. I would recommend doing this since the battle cruisers don't always orbit in range, so it's just easier to kill them while you have a chance. As you can see, this one over here is slightly burning out of range. I'm just going to approach it a bit. I'm still in range of the battleships. I'm just going to approach it so that I can get in range. Next, once this one dies, I can just quickly shoot that and this. As you can see, the cruiser died, so now I'm just going to approach its wreck. It might have faction drop, it might not, but You never know. This one burned out of range, so I'll have to chase after it later. Didn't drop factory this time, unfortunate. Okay, and now while I kill burn rate for the battleships, the drones will take care of all the destroyers and frigates. They barely do any damage, so you don't have to worry about tank. Besides, it's easier than knocking every single one, and then you have to reload. You have to reload away from rage to maybe faction, or it's just too much of a hassle. It's easier to just have drones killed instead of having to reload. Sometimes, as you can see, drones will, for some reason, shoot the target you're shooting instead of that. So in that case, it's good to have like 1 or 2 destroyers locked. So if they start doing that, you can just send them, just redirect them off. Now I do have an alt sitting on the in-gate into the site, so that way if anything shows up that's not blue or purple, I mean of course I have local open too, so I can tell first off from there, but just in case. Since this is somewhat boring, I won't lie, just in case if I see anything red, neutral show up, I can just quickly get my ship off. Besides, it helps since it's in the bombers and it has a Sino, so in case anything happens, I could also just Sino in reinforcements or drop the loot off and then Sino the ship out with all the loot. As you can see, drones are slowly killing the destroyers. Well, not slowly, they're killing them pretty quickly, all things considered. I am using rage ammos. If you were to use Tech 1 ammo, it would take, I think Tech 1 drops it to 300 or so DPS, you say? You get 450 DPS, so it is somewhat slower than just using rage. That last battleship is out of range, so I'll just use my Afterburner to burn it. Now, I haven't shown you, but again, just make sure you get all the rats red box on you before you start actually using drones, since if you don't, there's a good chance the rats will start shooting your drones and you'll lose a decent amount of DPS. It doesn't matter that you deploy them so late. The rats die quick enough that it doesn't end up being a factor. And now they're all dead, so... Make sure you recall your drones. The Rook only has a 25 drone base, so if you lose your drones, well, you don't have backups. Some people might prefer fitting ECM drones there in case you get tackled, but if you want, I would just say put them in cargo. I would recommend running it with an alt on the outgate, so if there's no tackle in the site itself, so if somebody comes in to tackle, you can just see them warping in and just warp off. There should be no reason you should get tackled in these sites, really. In this room, same deal. I would recommend just starting to orbit these 2 battleships over here, and while you're burning there, start shooting the battle cruisers. Again, you don't deploy drones at the start because there are rats in the back that will shoot the drones, and yeah, it just gets annoying. Just watch out because there is a stasis tower, so sometime when you're going through the site, you're killing one of the rats, just make sure you knock out the stasis tower, send your drones to kill it, and you'll be fine. Otherwise, you'll get it's not a bad penalty, it's just annoying to deal with, honestly.